This is a quick after spin. The video that I'm about to edit out. This is a ridiculously good condition. Turns out it's a 69. I speculated maybe 75 in other spots here, but at any rate, I'm just blown away by how nice this is. Apparently, these K25s, 12.5 watts, but were marketed against the Deluxe Reverb, which, given the price of a 69 Deluxe these days, is kind of shocking considering what I paid for this. Which, really, what I paid for it, I practically stole it. But, you know, good little pull for bright. And then it actually does have a pitch-shifting vibrato. It is so unreasonably cool. It is a great sounding unit. Anyway, I recapped it, cleaned out the pots, did some, you know, basic work, and did a 3-prong. And so I made a cute little video. But, you know, don't do this at home. Nothing that I do is advice. You should never mimic me. I'm a bad person. I'm an example of all the wrong things to do in life. And, you know, don't burn your house down. Don't hurt yourself. Be very careful. Entertainment purposes only. Professional driver. Closed course. All that crap. So here we go. Got a little K25. And unit was already in working condition overall. But needed the pots cleaned. You know, I figure while I'm cleaning pots, why not take this old 2-prong vacuum cord, and it's got that texture from the 70s. I'm convinced it's vacuum cord. And put on a 3-pronger, and, you know, had to be cute, so I'm going to go with gray to match the Naga hide. Let's see, this transformer. Those rivets have come a little bit loose, so I'm going to probably drill 2 of those out. Maybe all 4 if I'm feeling froggy, and replace them with nuts, bolts, and lock washers. You know, I guess bolt, but small, machine screw, whatever. Clean the pots. You know, go ahead and show how I am going to land this 3-prong here. It's interesting with that cute little fuse with the legs soldered to it. Anything to purchase a fuse, or avoid purchasing a fuse holder, right? But yeah, so we'll see how quick I can do this. It's 6 o'clock. Okay, it's 7:15. Gotta go feed the dog. But anyway, I only had to desolder one thing to get the board out. The output jack that mounts down there in that little hole. But anyway, I've got my live coming in here, going in through the fuse, one side, and then the neutral on the other. And, you know, I was going to make it so it would just, you know, not reverse the polarity going to the transformer. But, you know, this was just the easiest way to do it. I didn't have another terminal to play with. That terminal goes right to ground. So I used that for the ground. It, excuse me, previously had this little guy. So, you know, while I wouldn't use normally a bolted eyelet type for the ground itself, I'm just going to tighten this up and call it a day. I mean, that should have less resistance than my body would. But anyway, so these guys got my normal silicone there, nice little glob. Obviously, the the holders aren't going to cut it anymore. But you know, typical board soldering. Be real fast. I mean, this board is tremendous. This is a lot nicer than the old Lafayette Radio Company / Univox printed circuits that I've worked on before. But nice big meaty traces. I run my soldering iron hot and try to get in and out quickly. And let's see, here we go. Yeah, that's me right there. I'm going to clean that up a little bit. It looks burny, but it's flux that came down. It's not actually anything. But anyway, I'll do a little more flux removal, but you know, it's always gonna look a little melty. But anyway, next on to cleaning the pots. The reverb RCAs are just disgusting. I haven't decided. I may try and pull the reverb tank, but if you could see those, they're not corroded down there, so I'll probably just call it a day. And also, you know, the modern thing, put the ground long so if it pulls out. But, you know, the cable was about the same diameter as the original cable, so I don't think I'm gonna have a problem there. But I also looked real quick, and just a cool, you know, quick reference, you know, I did this with the TC1. So, you know, I wouldn't call this a calibrated scientific instrument, but the original new capacitance and old, you know, for each of these pairs, it's new, then old. You know, so really the originals were within spec. The ESR is a little higher on all of them. The loss percentage is a little higher, but I mean, you know, come on, folks, that's totally fine. So I had seen people talking about, you know, solid states and essentially talking about a few reasons why I guess they last longer, but this unit itself is so, you know, low miles, so to speak, that them sitting and not having juice going through them apparently is something that causes electrolytics to age faster. So who knows? Who knows? I gotta look at some of the pot codes here, try and figure out what year this is, but I'm guessing, you know, 75-ish. Something like that is probably it. So anyway, babbling aside, on to try and finish. It's 8:30. Take too long. But I got my transformer bolted down. Everything all nice and clean. And I use a lot of compressed air doing this type of stuff. I don't see a lot of the online amp guys doing that, but I just like it. It's nice. Get the debris out of there real quick and easy. And when I clean pots, you know, I'll do the normal blast the deoxidant in there, and you know, I'll do what is it, D5 for all of them, and the back and forth, 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 and then take compressed air, blow them all out clear, and then I'll do the same with F5 and back and forth, back and forth, and then on the back end of that, also blow those out with compressed air. So that's just my process, you know, clean everything up, clean the jacks, clean the shunts, you know, all the normal things. But, at any rate, why am I yapping? I'm losing time. Couple quick notes while I'm throwing this thing together. It's 8:41, my God. But as I'm going through, I'll usually spray some D5 and clean up the lock washers, you know, just everything in general, get the corrosion off it, you know, and the chassis itself before installing this entire board. Just get everything completely clean. You know, your jacks and whatnot are intending in a lot of cases to ground through all of that. So cleaning all that hardware, pull the jack up, you know, rotate a paper towel, wet it in the stuff, you know, against, you know, all the surface of the jack body and all that jazz. But, you know, stuff that I just do naturally. And then this is the silicone that I use. Harbor Freight's Harbor Junk. And then, yeah, so last quick thing I wanted to mention. Something like this where there's a lot of board mount parts and you pull the board out. And actually you can see how nice this RCAs came. But I've gone through and done kind of a final component check. There's a lot of stuff, some of these transistors, and you know, they mount stuff off intentionally in some cases to be away from heat or away from certain vibration or whatever else. So doing a quick component check, make sure you haven't, you know, pushed anything over, that kind of thing is an important step in an electronic device of this kind. We're about 10 to 9. We got her together. So I'm going to slap it back in the cabinet. I'm going to do a quick play test before the end of the night here. But the cabinet itself, there's some, and if you see back there, it's cracked out. cracked out around the holes where the fastening hardware goes. And I'm going to get some, I don't know, some like 1.5 inch fender washers, something big and voluminous. Well, area luminous? Anyway, something big and able to spread that out so it's going to, you know, be a little more secure in the cabinet long term. But anywho, I want to do a play test tonight, and crap, it's like 10 till 9. And here we go. So this sucker's turned on. got it on the old Yak Attack and my Goober limiter. The porcelain base, it didn't fit the little baby like I thought it was light size thing. Anyway, so this is, you know, a good time to remind everybody, don't do what I do. It's a bad idea. Okay, so let's start turning up. Ooh, interesting. Very low voltage. It's not even red. This thing turns on around 60 or so. An interesting sound. I dare say that's not a good sign. It's not pulling much current. It's some hella white noise, but this is also plugged in right now to a single coil Strat. It's not changing or anything, so I'm sure I'm gonna knock that over and curse a lot. Let's pop that out and just kind of isolate. Okay, so well, it's not picking up the LCD, but anyway. So I'm going through the limiter, you know, and you don't typically want to like bias through a limiter or whatever, but I've got it now. If you could actually read the readout at 120. Okay, so it's not awful. There's a little bit of a hum. Right outside the window, I've also got my AC unit running. So shame on me. That's probably a factor here. And actually, I got switch parts. The earth is the earth B2000 is actually done. I'm just doing a little cabinet work and come out with a video on that eventually. But this was an easy one, so figured why not go ahead and knock this sucker out. Man, it is pretty quiet. So I just got this nice SSL 7. I had ones and then a 5. And the 5, to be honest, didn't get the output that I wanted. So I'm very happy with the 7. It's P90-ish, really. Kustom. I guess it's gotta be some Credence. Ooh, that was horrid.